And the Post and the Times, is this a unspoken agreement they have with a left-leaning White House where they just don't mention this story and they get access, they get coverage, they're all aligned, they're all on the same team? What is that?
Well, I will say this, that both papers have a lot of good correspondence. There's people there I know. The Post has gotten thinner. They've hired a lot more young people. And you'll see a story, an important story about something going on in the war with this story was written by 5 people, which means that the boss runs it. The take on the story is coming from the top, how to tilt it if it is.
Okay.
Because when you have that many young people writing a story, who writes it? Not
Right.
one. It's not 5 can't write a story. They'd all kill each other if they did. Having known it, having worked it. So my guess is that they're persuaded by one source. The fact that I don't name a source, that for them is, and the problem is, it's always been the same problem, even when I worked there, is that I've had people inside that are willing to be critical about what's going on. And the problem is a source now for a lot of the people covering the White House. I was assigned by the New York Times. That's the best job in the world, to be the White House correspondent. Ed Rosenthal, the editor, Abe Rosenthal, even though he disagreed with me politically or anything, he liked my stories. And I stayed 2 days there because the idea of a inside source is maybe the press secretary after the briefing was over would whisper and he'd go into his office and maybe they bring in some deputy from one of the bureaus and they give him a private briefing. That's an inside source now. But inside sources in the operators, no. They can get a lot of 4-stars to talk to them or the aides to a 4-star. But find me the 1-star that really is pissing and moaning about what's going on. They don't find those guys this way. You can't find them in Washington. You have to go to the field to do it. So I think it's just a question of the definition of a good source has changed. Now it's somebody, from the White House telling you. And the reason I had so much trouble with some of the stories I wrote about the killing, you mentioned the killing of bin Laden. I didn't dispute that Obama authorized the killing. I just disputed all the propaganda he did afterwards to make himself look like a hero.
Mm.
And even then, it was 2011. He was a African American elected and a bright guy, very bright. I thought, okay, he's running for re-election, so he's going to tilt it. But I wrote some stories, and they did back off. They had the way they told the story is bin Laden was not a prisoner. He was there free. He decided the way to escape from the Americans after he did what he did in Afghanistan was go to a resort community about 25 miles north of Islamabad. You could call it the Martha's Vineyard of Islamabad. If it's 110 degrees there, it's 95 in Abbottabad. And live in a villa there all by himself is a good place to hide out with 1 mile away, literally from the west point of the Pakistani military armed forces. I mean, come on. He was a prisoner. And so that isn't the way the White House put it. They found him because of incredible work by the CIA tracking down people. And so they told a bunch of lies about it. So I wrote about that. I didn't attack the basic premise, but boy, did I get massacred for that. You can't do that. It's like in 2 weeks after the 9/11, they were giving briefings all the time. Brennan, who was the head of counterintelligence, later rewarded by being head of the CIA, were on the phone. The reporters could call in to a number and he'd give a briefing all. And the president sometimes got on the phone. It's like whatever was said in the 2 weeks after that with the president running for re-election was gospel. So when I write something different, the press was really mad at me. How dare you? And my thought is, didn't those reporters have a mother to tell them what makes sense and what doesn't make sense? What? They wrote that bin Laden had 2 AK-47, or 2 women in front of him when they cornered him with AK-47s, protecting him, trying to make him diminish him in the Arab world, in the Arab Sunni aggressive world. There was one time one of the stories was that he had 900 pounds, $900 pound bills sewed in the jacket of the lining of one of his jackets, as if that was going to be his escape money. Another story they put out had him sitting on a computer watching pornography. I mean, they just did it, and it all went down. My favorite one is the U.S. News, one of the national-wide newspapers, had one of the SEALs that went on the mission smuggled in a dog. And they had a story about the dog that stood guard when they were doing the mission to keep the local citizens from watching it. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, the SEALs have a dog that barks in Urdu. It was the dumbest story of all, but it was just on and on. They just fed the press, and they ate it all. They ate every bit of the stories about bin Laden was this or that. And so a year later in a London Review, by the way, with the same checkers as I used at the New Yorker and a wonderful editor, when I burst the bubble a little bit, I didn't say he didn't kill him. It wasn't, it's just like it was, I rained on their parade. Right. So we have that going on. The president has juice. This guy has juice, and he's using it in the wrong way. And I think the correspondents should, listen to some of the colonels in general that are on television. There's some of them are really very smart talking about the war. And some of them I know very well, and they were really at the top of the food chains in terms of understanding. And they're on all the news broadcasts, sometimes on Fox, which is the enemy. That doesn't make what they say less important. And they're not. They're listening to the briefers in the White House or the Pentagon briefers. We now have, I would probably say, in terms of, the leadership of the Pentagon, there's been better leadership. There's been better leadership. It's not the top of the game, but that's always a fact. I mean, to get to the top, you have to kiss a lot of butt to make it from colonel to general.
My name is Jim Rickards. I'm a former advisor to the CIA, Department of Defense, and the White House. In a moment, you'll have my own evidence that very few people have seen. You'll see how I believe two acts of democratic stupidity are about to combine into a storm that will change America forever, the American Energy Armageddon. In fact, due to specific circumstances created by the Armageddon, it's possible you could now win big while others lose. You see, there's a universal truth. In times of crisis, money moves. During the coming energy Armageddon, most Americans will face new hardships, but not all. A few will win and win big. You're about to see how the energy Armageddon could create a one-time opportunity to secure new substantial wealth. If you want in, keep watching. Right now, today, America is running out of gas, diesel, and oil. Our national fuel reserves are down 50% or more from where they should be. It's so urgent, major suppliers are calling it a code red emergency. We don't have the refining capacity to catch up, and we're shipping most of what we have to Europe to bail them out of Calamity Joe's Nord Stream crisis. We're now facing catastrophic fuel shortages I predict will collapse our nation's energy grid. When it happens, every citizen will see firsthand the Dems' obsession with green energy is a scam. In fact, I'm going to show you my evidence that outs them as shameless hypocrites. That's not all. I predict this storm will bring about a new social order to our country. Many who are now rich will find their accounts drained, and those who are poor will turn to desperate measures to survive. I'm talking about civil unrest, a massive crime wave, and violence in our streets. Most will suffer under Biden's energy Armageddon, but not everyone. Some good Americans will win. They'll take advantage of wealth-building opportunities created by the upheaval, which I'll reveal here today, to vastly improve their personal economic situation. And that's the most important thing I want to share with you. Now, if the idea of winning while others suffer makes you uncomfortable, no problem. Then this presentation is not for you. But the way I see it, our great nation was built during times of crisis when a few smart people recognized opportunity and seized it. If you see the storm coming, if you know Calamity Joe and his ilk are steering us straight into it, and you want to not just survive, but thrive by using the crisis potentially to grow your personal wealth, then you're exactly who I want to reach today. Give me about 3 minutes of your time. I'm going to show you everything right now.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities.
Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple-digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm gonna tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you gonna do? What's the choice that you're going to make?